Hello everyone, so welcome back to another stream. Today I'm going to be going a little bit into the new trailer from Daemon X Machina. We're going to be doing a little bit of a dive into this here and trying to pick up just on various different things we're going to be talking about. But before we do that, just remember that you can still get the orbital copy, which comes with the 18cm arsenal, the actual game itself, the steel box, and the art book. You can still get that online now for I think it's about 90 from certain retailers. Be sure to grab it up before it goes, because if you want this, then it's going to be one of those things I imagine further down the line people are going to try and get hold of as quickly as possible, and then they'll just sell it on for much more. I've seen some going for like the pre-orders. Somebody's put like some of the stuff on eBay and they're asking for like 130. So if you want it to be in your possession and you want it to be cheap, then make sure you get hold of it while you can. Anyway, we're going to go into this now. Daemon X Machina, I've been on about it for a while. Just like with Metal Wolf Chaos, I said that this year would be a really good year for mech fans because of us getting these two games that are technically from Software. Daemon X Machina is the spiritual successor to what seems to be a now dead franchise, which is Armored Core, and obviously Metal Wolf Chaos being from Soft as well, being one of the more funny titles, the more exaggerated sort of really crazy out there one where you play as the president in a mech suit. I said it would be good, and hopefully I'm going to be right about that. Either way, jumping into the trailer here, we see a lot of these giant Titan-like enemies. It's been a while since I played the demo, so I can't remember what everything is called. But yeah, we see a lot of these giant Titan-style enemies throughout the trailer in different environments, in different situations. Honestly, I feel like they'll be almost like the mini-bosses of the game, where they just reoccur, like they keep coming in different areas. It's glad to see, well, I'm glad to see that it's not just one fight though and then they just disappear, because if you really enjoyed that fight, then basically you would only get that one and nothing else. You'd have to keep going back to that mission, whereas instead they seem to be more of a recurring threat. Anyway, that was shown off in this latest trailer. Then we got to see a bunch of arsenals standing round together, or floating round together, which looked cool. We've got some of the main ones that we've already seen in the demo that looked a little bit like, I think it was Nine Ball from Armored Core. I do like the way that these new trailers, though, are fleshing out the characters, their individuality that is shown off in the mechs. We're getting a lot more character-driven story in Daemon X Machina by the look of it, which is something that I really I'm hoping will give us a good payoff. You know, like we'll actually be able to get invested in the characters more. Then we had a shot of what looks like a platform in the middle of an ocean. This reminded me of the oil platform level, or the yeah, I think it was the oil platform level in Armored Core 1, where you have to go and save the entire place from exploding, or you have to go and destroy a bunch of floating mechs that had flamethrowers on them. And you had to jump around. I think I might be getting confused between Armored Core 1 and Armored Core 2 here. I've not played them in ages. But basically it looks like we'll be getting a level very similar to that, where we get to float around. It's possibly between multiple platforms, because at the top of this image, just along the top near the center, you can see like another grey, what looks like a strut there. The main part that I took from this, though, is we see a overhead, what looks like transport, or a flying vehicle. And we get to see it later on in different colours. I'm assuming, like the giant titans at the beginning, that we're going to see these being a reoccurring thing. But the immediate shot after seeing like a above shot down onto the transport is that one of the arsenals comes through and just carves it up with its melee weapon in a very stylized manner. Something that I actually do like, the way that Daemon X Machina has kind of taken what was popular or what was good beforehand and just improved on it. So we've got the enhanced melee combat, we've got the more stylized combat, and then obviously we've got the more character-driven story, which I went on about before. Number 7 here, or image 7, because I've got all of these numbered. This looks like a airport level. Reminds me a little bit like, again, the classic levels that we've had in Armored Core 1 and Armored Core 2, where you either have to defend an airport or attack it. This one looks like attack the airport. We've got a bunch of hangars, or at least it looks like an airport. Could be a mech base, but it looks very similar. You've got what looks like a aircraft control or some sort of control spire at the back that they might have people sat in, relaying orders. We've got all these projectiles going around all over the place. And then, of course, we've got the arsenal that's floating right above the main entrance, just raining fire down on everybody that's actually in the base. The next part of it after this was kind of interesting because there's something that's giant and floating in the background on the right, just at the middle of the screen. And this is in the same area where the training mission takes place in the demo. I wasn't quite sure about this. I'm not too sure of what it could be, primarily because it doesn't go too much into detail about this bit. But this covers the weapons section. It shows you all the different weapons and a couple of examples of each of them, including some twin-linked plasma cannons, or what look like plasma cannons. Maybe it's just a laser gun, but I like the way that it's focused. It keeps firing, and then the effect is that it's kind of like a lightsaber. When you drag it across a surface, it has that impact that slowly heats up everything. That's a really cool effect. Also, it looks like we've got either some toxic stuff exploding in the background, or maybe it's just a different color explosion. The environment itself is some sort of indoor environment. Reminds me a little bit of the Armored Core 1 mission where you have to go into a furnace and stop some MTs. It looked a lot like that, but just with a different hue on it. Could be totally wrong. We've got some mechs on the floor here that look a lot like some of the mechs that you would see in some of the later missions in the submerged bases in Armored Core 1. I can't remember any of these names now. It's kind of a shame. Then we've got number 11 here. This was really cool because before this shot, I was trying to get one of the lightning gun going off, or what looks like a lightning gun. Basically, it's a cannon on the arm that shoots a bolt of lightning at the enemy, and they used it on this larger Titan scale enemy to show it off, and it shows that you can do different things in combat instead of just blowing everything up. Like, for instance, in this case, the lightning gun stunned the giant Titan enemy here. I like that because it gives you a little bit more depth to it, rather than just being able to be like, okay, I can just choose lots of missiles for spam, lots of explosives, some projectiles, maybe some laser weapons, or maybe a blade, maybe a physical or a laser blade. Now it's like, okay, we're getting into the more interesting stuff where you've got giant lasers, you've got stuff that shoots lightning that can potentially stun enemies. So I imagine that might be used for if you want to salvage certain parts off them, or if there's a weak spot that you can hit that's a lot easier using that to stun the enemy. I imagine that's what it's for. Again, I've not translated all the text at the bottom of these, so I don't know what it says there. The way that I looked at this one was we've got this crazy style environment in the background. It looks like a desert style area with some platforms sticking out of some cliff faces. I could be wrong about that, but the cool thing here is they have a set of double missile pods on the shoulders. Again, that's stuff that's very familiar to people that used to play Armored Core. We'd get about, I think it was in the first game, we got 3 different missile pods that would be mounted like this on your shoulders. Reminds me a lot of those. It's really cool to see, and it looks like it allows you to fire way more missiles than you would do normally. Then, so another thing that looked kind of interesting and kind of familiar to me were these, what looks like vertical missiles. It fires these projectiles, whatever they are, off vertically. We've got these purple style glows coming from them. These tanks and turrets in front in what looks like a base area. And then in the actual video, the projectiles come flying back down again and blow up the tanks. That looked really cool. So we got some vertical weapons in there. We get to see the shielding working a little bit properly here. They do a little bit of messing around where they show off the shield as it's deployed properly and being able to block attacks. This reminds me a lot of Primal Armor from Armored Core 4, or at least from the trailers that we had, where you would see it like or in the promotional videos where you would see a 4th generation armored core blocking projectiles with a PA shield. That looked really cool, so it was nice seeing what is almost like a callback to it with the femto shield here. Then we get to see a different set of environments here. This looked a little bit like the beginning environment because the bridge or whatever, but this is showing a arsenal flying up between two bridges in what looks like either a area covered in ash or snow. I like the different variety in levels and missions. So again, this reminded me, everything is reminding me here of different bits of Armored Core, which is for me both good and bad, but on a personal level, on a gameplay level, and just having variety, I really enjoy this. It's looking really good. I can't wait to see what else they show off. We get to see that in the character customization, on the first page here, you see at least 20 different haircuts that are used to customize your character. If I'm right and they keep those and bring them across the next 2 pages, then that means you're looking at about 60 different hairstyles. I'm probably not, it's probably less than that. It probably might get to like page 3 and they only give you 5 or whatever. But it is cool that they're giving you more than 20 as an option, especially because then you're going to have female options and then your body type, whatever, your face type. I just like the way that they're making this very personal. The best thing about a customized or a customizable game is the ability to make it feel as if everything that you do in the game is a result of you, or like the best way to describe this I found before was when looking at a game like, say, Resident Evil 4, customizing your weapon is unique to each different person. So, say for instance, somebody might take the TMP at the beginning of the game and put a stock on it to give them extra aim. Somebody might not like that and will not add a stock to it. But either way, that's a little personal thing that you choose to do, and it makes that your choice. You actually feel like you've affected it a little bit. And it will give you feedback through gameplay to say whether it was a good choice or whether a bad choice. I like the fact that they're doing stuff like that with this a little bit more, where they're saying, look, everything that you do here, it's your choice. It's you get to create every little bit of your character. You get to customize your machine as much as you want within these parameters. It's, at the end of the day, it's following the same pattern as Armored Core, but making it a little bit more personal by having the character customizable as well, and I really enjoy that. Then we've got what looks like, on this one in particular, it looks like a normal arm, and then on the right hand side we have what looks like a weapon arm with a shield on it. This caught my eye purely because we'd had weapon arms in Armored Core. You're going to hear me referencing Armored Core way too much. This will not be able to get away from the whole nickname of an Armored Core clone, or oh, it's just Armored Core for the Switch. You know, it's not going to be able to get away from that. But considering it's made by the same team, I don't think it needs to. I do like the way, though, that they've changed things up. We used to have weapon arms where you would have double of the same weapon and you wouldn't be able to hold anything. This looks a little bit cooler because you can still shield yourself, and you've also got the ability to use one normal weapon and one bigger weapon, it looks like. It'd be interesting to see if they have weapon arms on both arms again as a little callback. Even if it doesn't, I hope they go further with this in terms of developing different weapons on the arms so that you don't just have, like, say, 3 or 4 choices. Because in standard Armored Core, you would have, like, different types of machine guns, you would have at least a laser or a plasma cannon, you'd have a couple of types of missile launchers, and then maybe a blade. I'm not sure whether they would do blade arms in this because they've already got blades that you can equip. But even so, just having a variety of different stuff, like the ones that I've mentioned, and I just forgot you can also have grenade launchers in old Armored Core. If it's like that, that'd be really cool. I'd like to see them do more of this thing where they have one normal arm, one weapon arm, because it makes it so much more different, and it makes it fresh for players that already know that kind of thing from Software's previous catalogue of games. Then another thing that caught my attention here, I was going to say cropped up. Another thing that caught my attention was the fact that the entire game takes place with I think it's the moon being destroyed or something. From what I remember from seeing it early on, we get to see a shot of it in the beginning of the trailer with it exploding. I immediately, when I saw this, thought, wait a minute, are we getting some sort of like meteorites, like falling down onto the planet? Are we going to get a hail of meteorites that in one mission or a couple of missions are just falling down and we have to stop them by shooting at them? Because that's what this looks like. I could be totally wrong on that, but if we do, that's a really cool mission. We get similar missions in various Armored Core games. Again, we get like base missions where you have to shoot down oncoming missiles. You have Armored Core 4 where you have to shoot down oncoming drones that explode on contact. So it would be a different take on that, but within context of environmental hazards rather than a enemy opposing force. Then, as we get to the last two here, this is what had my attention quite a lot as well. Was a bridge going over a ravine with a train. Train missions are something that recurs throughout Armored Core. We've had them at least twice. I think maybe 3 times. But basically, the idea is that you either defend or attack the train and loot stuff off it. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, they are going full classic here with the themes and the mission layouts and what you actually do in the missions. I just thought it's reminding me so much of Armored Core right now, but it isn't. It isn't Armored Core, but it is. It's like the spirit and the themes are there, but it doesn't follow the same designs. Kawamori has obviously done new designs for it that don't look as blocky, look a little bit more, I would say, going along the lines of a mixture between Armored Core 2 and Armored Core 4. But either way, I like the way that this is looking. This gives you a little hint as to what some of the other missions might entail. I'm actually going to have to go back through at some point and see beforehand if there's anything else that can be brought up that might be very similar or that we can anticipate happening based on games that they've done before and what missions have cropped up. And then the final one was more stylized action. There was way more stylized action in the end of the trailer. We had this sequence, which was really awesome, which was 2 machines being blocked in a melee fight by one that was dual wielding. That had me like, wait, what's happening here? That had me surprised, shocked, and excited at the same time at seeing so much ridiculous stuff happening. Then we had a machine after it getting hit in midair by a blade and then getting kicked into the ground and exploding. Honestly, this game is all about spectacle fights, and I really like that because it's something that if you've seen, like, if you've ever been a fan of Armored Core or you've seen the intros and some of the other cutscenes, you've always wanted to see something similar to this in the games where you're like, okay, I either want to play it like this and it'd be faster and be a little bit more stylized, or you've just wanted to see more of that in cutscenes, like fleshed out a little bit more to see what could happen. And I like the way they're going with this. It's like they've taken it and mixed it almost with, say, something like Metal Gear Rising, because that was very stylized and was very over the top. It's almost as if they've taken those 2 games and just mixed them together and got this really stylized looking combat that looks absolutely fantastic in cutscenes. And in gameplay, obviously, if you're picking up, say, like a stop sign and throwing it at a tank and destroying it, that's pretty brutal. So I can't wait for this to come out. It's another month away, I think. So we've got this and Metal Wolf Chaos to look for. Metal Wolf Chaos first, then this. Again, just finishing up here. If you've only just come in, the Orbital version, which I've already pre-ordered today. If you want to get it while it's still in stock, because like most From Software stuff, as soon as it goes, it's going to be a lot more expensive in future. This thing is already taking pre-orders all over the place, and the average price of pre-orders is about 85 to 90. You see it in some other weird places like eBay where people are claiming, that they can put a pre-order down for you for $130. Do not go to anywhere like that. Go to your nearest shop if you want the Orbital version with the art book, the steel book, and the hanger style box with the Arsenal figure in as well. If you want that, go to your nearest shop and pre-order it before it runs out. That's if you want the special edition. If not, standard edition is still good. You're getting a decent game by the looks of it. I'm so hyped for this. I really am. I can't wait just to try out something new again. And the demo had me hyped anyway. I've still got the demo on my Switch. So, I can't wait. I really can't. I'll keep you guys updated on extra trailers that come out before then or any other news. So I'll see you next time. Bye!